Welcome to the Unapologetic Entrepreneurship Podcast, where we believe that as entrepreneurs, we get to decide what our business and our life looks like.
And we get to be unapologetic about it.
You're your own boss, so why are you waiting for permission to do things your way?
Here, we ditch the shoulds. No more building a business that looks good on paper but feels bad in your body.
No more following someone else's strategy just because it worked for them or chasing someone else's version of success.
I'm Delia.
And I'm Joana, and this is not just another business strategy podcast.
We are going so much deeper.
We'll be talking about identity, purpose, our inner worlds, and designing a business around the life you actually want to live.
Let's get into it.
All right, welcome back to the Unapologetic Entrepreneurship Podcast. And today I'm so excited to be chatting with Delia again because we have not really sat down and have a proper catch up in like 3 weeks because she's been on a holiday with her family. She still is, hence the new background. I've gone on a 2-week vacation with my family and I have so much to tell Delia that I've kept it for this podcast because I feel like you guys are going to really love it too because it's all about living your business unapologetically. So the first thing I want to tell you about, Delia, do you remember Jess Shear, which we met in Puerto Rico when we were at a conference?
Yes.
So she's been staying with us where she house sitted our house for 2 weeks, and we had some time before I left for the holidays, and we had dinner yesterday. And Jess is someone who inspires me so much because, like you, she's very unapologetic about how she lives her life and how she runs her business. Like, honestly, I actually think we should invite her on and have her tell her whole career story like she told me last night, because it's just so inspiring to see how she just like snuck herself into rooms that she couldn't afford to at a time while babysitting and all the things. I don't want to give any spoilers, but like she really hustled her way into the entrepreneurial world and then just followed the energy. And she has done so many different things.
We should definitely get her on.
I know, right? She's been so unapologetic and she's someone who really embodies freedom. So like, I know one of your big values is freedom. Mine is too. I think you live it much better. And Jess really embodies it. And so yesterday I was telling her that in my 2-week break where, by the way, and if you listen to last week's podcast all about no phones, I had 0 phones. My kids had 0 screens. Most of the days I would forget my phone at home and go to the beach for the whole day. And I surfed and I had long walks on the beach, and I'm just like, I just got so much inspiration, not just for the business, but I started to get like ideas for songs, which I haven't composed music since I was 18 probably. And then I was getting ideas for making jewelry. Because like my mom, even the necklace I'm wearing today, it's actually a kid's necklace, but my mom made it when she was 30 and she had me and she was trying to like get a side hustle so she could be a stay-at-home business owner. And I started having ideas for necklaces. Like I started playing around with polymer clay, getting like my hands making things again, and so inspired. And I was telling Jess yesterday, I was like, I looked at this like music production course. It's 2 days a week and 4 hours a day. So it'll be like 8 hours total a week, but it feels like really irresponsible to do when I run a business and I have responsibilities towards clients, towards my audience, and the responsibility to bring home income. And she's like, okay, but like, what's 8 hours a week? Tell me a little bit more about what's coming up. And I'm like, well, I guess it's that limiting belief that the less I work, the less I make. And she's like, she asked me correctly. It's like, when did that track in your whole career? Like, when did the hours you work correspond to the money you made? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Because like when we came back from that trip in Puerto Rico, I was so inspired that like in a month, we put together a live event for 60 people. We had a photo shoot. We launched a new product and we made $30K in a month. like from the, besides like the agency and all of that. And she's like, and look at what you did with Delia and the challenge. It was like when there's energy, when there's inspiration, things fall into place. The energy kind of takes you, and the hours we worked compared to the money we made, it wasn't 8 hours a week for the music production course would have done no
the fun
difference.
we had as well.
Yeah.
Because it was like with the challenge, we worked hard, but for the amount of money we made and the amount of fun that we had, I mean, I couldn't believe we were getting paid for it.
Yeah. I know, right? And so it's funny that sometimes like we talk about these things and we believe in these things, but sometimes it's hard to live them. At least for myself,
They're like limiting beliefs that are so deeply ingrained, even culturally. I'm not saying they're deeply ingrained in you, but I just feel like culturally, it is such a big belief that the harder we work, the more money we make. The less we work, the less money we make. That even when in your life you have proved time and time again that that is not true, it sneaks up. It's a sneaky bugger.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If I were to look at facts in my career, it has nothing to do with time, but more to do with like the more inspired and energized I am, the more money I make. So it's not to do with time, it's to do with energy. At least in my career, that's how it's tracked. And so why not do something that brings me inspiration, even if it's nothing related to work? So that's something I'm like pondering on, because the other thing I said to her was like, I also want to do more surfing, and I want to do like more yoga and like more being in my body, because I honestly believe that like the more you're in your body as well, the more energized and inspired you'll be, and the less anxious about the uncertain future. So I'm like, I still have a couple more weeks to decide about my vision for starting September. Like, what do I want my work-life balance schedule to look like so I can fit in some things that I could be unapologetic about? But the other thing I wanted to...
Can I just say, before we go on to the other thing as well, that this is living. Like, so often we focus on our work and we focus on our business and we think, when I achieve X, I will do Y, right? So it's like, once I'm getting in those regular 20K months, 30K months, whatever it is your goal is, then I will be able to take my foot off the pedal and I will be able to do more of these fun activities. Whereas actually it's like, no, all we have is right now, and life is right now. And if we're not living the life we want to have right now whilst we're also working, then what's it all about? So I'm so glad you had that chat with Jess, and I applaud the idea of you doing more surfing and doing this music course. And then the only other thing that I would add to it as well is that the one thing that I do these weekly improv classes, right? And that cuts one of my days basically by half because I have to travel to get to them. And I would say that the only thing for me to factor in when I'm doing these like activities that are like living is like then the transition back to work. Like, what does that look like? What time of the day are these activities happening? And then how do I transition back into work? So the improv works really well for me because it's the end of my day. Because I think I would struggle to work after that. But maybe that would be different for you. But I just find that my brain disconnects so much from work that I could do other creative projects. But the idea of actually going back to work would be a challenge. Anyway, that was all I want to say.
So that was one of the things, is like they still haven't released the schedule for the music production course. And I'm like, well, if it's in the afternoon, it'll be a lot better than if it's in the morning. Because if it's in the afternoon, I can get a day's work done in the morning and I could skip lunch and then I could go have fun. But as I was saying this to Jess, she was also saying like, Joanna, you've been carrying so much responsibility all your life since you were so young. Like, I was 22 when I started hiring people. Just like, just be happy. Just do things that light you up. Just give yourself permission to be in joy. I'm like, yes. And so the other thing I wanted to tell you about is I just came off a coaching call, a one-on-one coaching call with one of our challenge members that signed up for the one-on-one coaching. And it's amazing how some people can be a mirror for like what you're going through. And it's so clear to see on the other side. It's like, oh, well, this is what you should do. And then it's like, but her situation's the exact same as mine. And so without revealing her identity, I wanted to tell you a little bit about this person because I feel like you will perhaps resonate. So she has an agency that she has led for, I believe it's 23 years, and is a team of 5. And when I asked her to describe her dream vision, she's like, I want to have more free time to work on this other business idea that I have. And I want to be able to like take a month or 2 off when my kids are off school to go and like travel. And I was like, why don't you do that now? And there are all these things that came up that it's amazing, like the stories we tell ourselves for why we're not allowed to do that now. She believed that as long as she had a team in a physical location, she couldn't take that time off.
Wow.
Whereas I think like now with the internet, I mean, even if you have a team in a physical location, you could still take like my husband and I used to take a month off to go snowboarding. And I would tell my team that like I was taking the mornings off, and then in the afternoons, I would have calls with them. And that's what I did. And like, it was totally possible. And we were still serving our clients great. And I even wrote it in the recent newsletter, kind of felt like cheating. But I was unapologetic about letting us have that month off. It wasn't even off but like working from somewhere else. And the other thing that I resonated with is because she has a team and she has a new business idea, she's kind of doing it in secret from her team. And I get it. It's like when you have a business and a team, you kind of feel like they're my responsibility. I often see it where the entrepreneurs then start acting like they're working for their team. It's not that the team is serving the business. It's like they owe it to their team. So for anyone listening, if you have a team, consider the relationship balance. Consider like how much are you giving the team and how much is the team giving you? Like if it feels like they're helping you make more, they're helping you grow the business, they're helping you live the life that you crave, they're helping you get your time back, then that feels like a good balance if they're happy with what they're getting in exchange, because you're giving them a salary, you're giving them safety. Like you're already giving a lot. But if it feels like you as the boss, the business owner, is working hard to give them work, working hard to like get more clients so that they can be busy, working hard to look for the right projects so that they can be fulfilled, and it feels like you're doing more than what you're getting in exchange, then it's worth looking at this balance. And I asked her to look at it from a cold perspective, because I know we get attached to people, and we should, right? Like we are human, and it is beautiful to have great relationships with the people you work with. But if it is costing you your sanity, if it's bringing you more stress than it's bringing you joy or freedom and all of that you value, then look at it from the perspective of if a buyer was to look at your business, they'd be looking at like, well, how much are you paying this person? How much are they bringing in? How much are you paying this person? How much are they bringing in? And they'd be very cold about like, well, this person isn't pulling their weight, so let's let them go. And how much is the business owner working on this? Okay, well, they can't do all of that. Let's put someone else there. And so like I was like prompting her to like think about all of these things to start living the life that she wants now, because it's really not far away. Like I asked her to take weekends off because that's when she would work on her side business that she's having these ideas for her second business, and to like communicate to the team that this serves the bigger purpose, this serves a bigger vision, because one business, they actually complement each other, they serve the same audience, one feeds into another, and get them in on it. And can you actually carve out a month where you're going traveling with your family and you let the team know and you empower them to step up? And can you also maybe take one day a week where you're working on this new business, because you've already seen that it's bringing the agency clients? So it was amazing how like clear it was to me how she could live her 5-year vision of her dream life today. And how often do we get stuck in like, I don't deserve that yet, or it's really far away when you look at, but what do you really want to do? And what would you have to rearrange in your life to make that happen? And it's probably more possible than you think.
Love that so much. And it kind of comes back to what we were saying before about this belief that we have to reach somewhere until we start living somewhere. Because I think that's the other danger that we have sometimes, is that we always feel we need more. I was listening, I can't remember who it was now, but I was listening to a podcast with somebody and they were saying that even Oprah has money worries, right? She's there earning. I mean, I don't know what she brings in, but it's going to be a lot of money. And even she will be like, it's not enough. Or when I hit this, I will do that. And I think that's a really good reminder of like, we are wired often, especially as entrepreneurs, to always be seeking more. And if we're always seeking more, then the things that we want to do will happen when we get that more. But that more keeps on moving because nothing is ever enough. So instead, it's like, what if everything we have today is enough? And with that enough, how do we want to live? Because we'll always want more as entrepreneurs. I mean, I don't know. How many entrepreneurs do you meet that are like, I've got it all. That's it. Like, we're always striving for more. It's almost in our DNA, right?
Yeah. And I think we should strive for progress, because I think that correlates to happiness, but we can find progress in other ways. Like, what if you're making progress in how much more time you get back? What if you're making progress in how many extra books you're reading or how good you're getting at your side hobby? And I think the enoughness it's like I said in a previous episode, when I went on that retreat and I felt how I felt, and I was like, if I could feel this every day, it would be amazing. And I actually feel this without any material possessions and just time in nature. So like, why are we in this consumer trap and needing more things? And if I think of like, if I won the lottery, what would I be spending my time on? And then I realized it doesn't even cost that much money to make that happen now, you know? Like, right? I want to paint, I want to do polymer clay, I want to play music, I want to go surfing, I want to be with friends. Like, I don't think about like the expensive hotels I'd get to stay at, or like the restaurants or the designer bags. Like, that's not what comes to mind when I think of like, if I won the lottery. I'd obviously like buy houses so the money could like carry on making more money. But yeah, like, you can probably live your happiest life right now by making a few changes.
100% agreed. And it's something that I've experienced firsthand when I've been in transition in different periods of my life, when I've had to bring down what I'm spending every month, when I've had to change my life dramatically. They are not my most unhappy moments. You know, sometimes when you might have to say no to something, and this is the other thing about just not caring, right? So like, you know, I've said to you before, Joanna, let's get together. I'm coming to you. FYI, I can't spend any money when I'm there. And you put together this incredible itinerary, and we did so many lovely things. And we went for a picnic up in gosh, to this day, one of the most beautiful spots I've ever had a picnic in.
Right.
Your husband kindly made our picnic for us.
The best tuna wrap you've ever had.
The best tuna wrap I've ever had. I still talk about it. And, you know, we didn't, apart from the petrol together, it didn't cost us anything. And I think this is such a great reminder of like, what sets you alive? Like, if you were to do an audit right now of your best moments in the last 5 years, what are they? And I bet it is not that car you bought or, you know, material things. Although I would put my house on that list. I do love my house I've bought. And I do have to keep paying the mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You need to be And we're in a privileged position where we can afford a roof over our heads and food and like the basic things. And we need to make enough to cover that. But some people are making so much more or striving for so much more that they might not understand, like, okay, I want to make $1 million, but what are you going to spend it on? How is it going to make you happier? And maybe it will. Maybe you have great ideas for how you're going to invest so that maybe you're doing like that FIRE method where you can retire early. And maybe you're great at managing your money and you're actually living frugally, but you're making a lot and saving and investing. And that's amazing. Like, I wish I could go back in time and tell myself to do that. But if you don't know where the money's going and you're just chasing that and spending carelessly, then you'll soon realize that it doesn't make you that much happier. And you might be like, okay, for example, with the music course, I was like, okay, the music course is $250 a month. Where am I spending $250 a month that I could just not spend it? So it doesn't feel like an extra cost. So many ideas came to mind. And one of the things that I've done recently that has made me happier is I've stopped buying my kids' clothes. I used to, like, every time they wouldn't fit into something, I'd like go to Zara, which is terrible because it's fast fashion and we all know like what's happening there. And I would spend money, I'd get the clothes, then I would donate. But now I'm just like, who has kids older than me? Can I have your hand-me-downs? I've been selling the clothes that no longer fit them on Vinted or on the secondhand store that gives you money back for the clothes. And then I'm using the credit from Vinted or that to like buy whatever they need. And sometimes like I found these great finds. Like my daughter found these Melissa shoes. It's a Brazilian brand that is quite costly for like €5 with this like flower on it. And she's like, they're my princess shoes. And she's so happy about them. And I'm so happy that they cost me nothing. And that it was a nice experience to do with them, to be like, what no longer fits, let's put it in this bag and let's then use the money they give us for it to buy new things in the store. And it's teaching my kids as well the values of like recycling and giving things a second life. And they don't care that they're wearing secondhand clothes. I don't even think they understand what that means. And yeah, it's things like that I'm like, yeah, this is making me happier. We're doing more barbecues at home instead of going out so often, and that's making me happier because it's just easier to like eat at home with kids.
This reminds me of that book we've both read. You're going to have to tell me if I butcher the title now. The Year of Less.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that book.
I love that book too. So I do identify as a bit of a minimalist. I say bit of a minimalist because I feel like minimalism is a spectrum and I do have things, but I really value not having too many things. And I think when you can actually identify that as a value that you have, it makes it more exciting to live it. So a bit like what you've just said about you've identified in here that you're no longer supporting fast fashion and that you're teaching your children about like sustainability and even teaching them, as they get older, maybe doing it already, like how this money comes in and it's here in this account in Vinted and it goes out again. So it's like all the money thing too. And I think when as well, like you can identify the values that feel good out of these changes in your life, it is just so satisfying. And satisfaction is such a core happiness thing, isn't it? When we're like living and feeling really, really satisfied, it's like, oh, life feels good. And satisfaction often doesn't come from buying that new thing or living in that materialism world, which is driving us to earn more, but not necessarily for the right reasons. And I should say there are plenty of right reasons to want to earn more. Like you and I talk about this a lot, unashamedly. We want to earn more to be able to, whether it's pay for our kids' education or maybe look after our parents in retirement or give more money to charity. be able to have those barbecues with friends where you can buy everything you want and pour wine freely without worrying about it. Money is, I definitely don't want to undermine the importance of earning money and striving to earn money. But I think it's just, designing it intentionally and understanding why you want to earn that money, and then building the life for that right reason, really intentionally.
I think it's about like getting clear on like, what would your life, like what would your best life look like? Like I would keep my kids in the same school. I would maybe like have more hobbies. I want to like go on this vacation in the summer with them for 2 months. So what does that cost? And then seeing like dividing that up into 12 months and seeing then what is my monthly goal? Or maybe you're doing, what I want to do starting September is like, I want to make enough so that I don't need to work July and August. And so what does that look like revenue wise? And can I have a system where I put that money away before I even see it so that July and August expenses are covered and I can take that time off unapologetically because the money's already there. And it's understanding like, what's that enoughness? And then it also makes spending decisions easier. Like, can I buy this thing? Well, I do have the money in the bank for it, but what is it robbing? Oh, it's robbing me of that 2-month holiday that I really want. Okay, maybe I don't want this thing anymore. Or maybe let's see if I can find it secondhand. Or maybe let's see if I can sell something in my house to pay for it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I have just had a moment of inspiration where we need to do a workshop in September called Design Your Enough Life. And and we could do this with everybody, and we could all plan our finances and get really intentional. I don't know, if you're listening to this and you like that idea, then drop me and Joanna an Instagram and be like, yes, I am up for designing my enough life, because I feel like this is what we need to be doing as entrepreneurs.
And speaking of workshops, we did change the date on our workshop, but if you haven't signed up yet, sign up. It's going to be on the 26th of August. And it's called The Value Gap. And it's going to be all about why people underpay you or haggle with you and how to fix it. So that will probably also help you design your enough life if you get paid what you want and you understand where that gap is between how people perceive you and how you should be perceived to be able to charge what you want, so that you can have more time to spend on the things that will bring you joy.
I'm so excited about this upcoming workshop we have on the value gap, because I don't know about you, Joanna, but I'm feeling more and more like, like 6 years ago in the entrepreneurial world, it was just like, raise your prices. And we could, and we did. And it's not as easy right now to just raise your prices without necessarily changing your perceived value online. And so that's kind of what we're going to be getting into. Like, what do you actually need to be changing so that people see you as that high value, high ticket service provider, so that you can then raise your prices? It's like the foundational work, isn't it, before you do charge more or shift your audience. So I'm super excited. And we're doing it now on the 26th of August, right?
Yes.
And we'll drop the link in the show notes.
If you haven't signed up for it yet, go sign up. And if you also want us to do your Design Your Enough Life, then drop us a DM, and we can't wait to hear what you think of this episode. We'll see you next week, and bye for now.
See you next week. Bye.
That's it for this week. If you enjoyed this episode, or if something here landed for you, share it with a friend.
Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss next week's episode.
And if you can, please leave us a review. It really helps new people find us.
See you next time.